What's up, guys, and welcome back to Thomas Reacts here on the 360 Experience with myself, Thomas Mashaba. So today, guys, we are talking about Herman Mashaba, the president of ActionSA and the former executive mayor of Johannesburg. Mr. Mashaba recently was invited to BIZNEWS conference where he gave a keynote speech, and in that speech Mr. Mashaba said few interesting things that I really want us to go through. So today, guys, I have that video where Mr. Mashaba gave this speech. Guys, you know that it's elections, so everyone is trying to gather support. So Mr. Mashaba also used this opportunity that was given to him to also talk about the big conversation that is taking place right now in South Africa, which is the coalition government. So guys, let's hear what Mr. Mashaba and ActionSA has in store for us.
Thank you, Alec, and congratulations for the 10 years, and good morning, fellow South Africans. I think I just want to make it clear from the beginning so that South Africans cannot say that I betrayed them one day. Right now, South Africa has entered an era of coalitions. This is the outcome of a political dispensation, and the voters are spoken, and they'll keep speaking about this. I cannot really see anyone getting an outright majority come 2024, and I think it is my great wish that it happens for the next 100 years, because my country and continent has proven, and in actually some parts of the world have proven, that one-party system cannot sometimes be good for society. But I just obviously want to really make it really very clear that, please, in the event we get into a coalition and the party I lead expect me to go into the ANC, I'm saying to South Africa, please ask me to step aside. This political party I founded, it's no longer, it's not my party. I didn't start it for myself. I started it because I wanted to democratically remove the ANC from power.
So guys, before I allow Mashaba to go anyway, I want us to talk a bit about this thing of politicians coming and declaring that they are not going to work with the certain parties. Do you believe them? Do you believe Herman Mashaba when he says anything that has to do with the ANC, he's not going to be involved? Do you actually believe that? I don't believe these politicians, man. I don't believe politicians. I know that everyone right now is declaring that I will never work with the DA. Some people say I will never work with the EFF. Some say I will never work with the ANC. But these guys who are making these promises are politicians at the end of the day. And since when can we trust politicians? Because right now, if people vote for him on the basis that he's not going to work with the ANC, but come 2024, you know what's going to happen. These guys are going to negotiate. They are going to say all these things right now to try to gaslight us as the public. But when it comes to negotiation time, everyone is going to be negotiating with everyone. Because the one thing that these political parties want is power, all of them. The one thing that they want is power. And they already have an excuse in the store that, okay, even though that we said that we are not going to work with the EFF, but you know what are we going to do? We are going to put the interest of South Africans ahead of us. So we are going to work with these guys, even though that we don't agree with them, just to put the interest of South Africans before us. So how can we trust them when they come and tell us that we are not going to work with certain political parties? I mean, like, anything can happen next year. Anything can happen. And these political parties that are declaring that they will never work with each other have worked with each other before. They have worked with each other before. The DA and the EFF, right now they are on each other's necks. But these guys have worked with each other before. The DA and the ANC, they've worked with each other before. People might say that the ANC don't like the DA or the DA hates the EFF. But at the end of the day, when it comes to negotiation times, everyone negotiates with everyone. So I don't know how I feel about politicians declaring that they're not going to work with certain political parties. But we know that these guys, they work with each other. When it comes time to negotiate, everyone is going to negotiate with everyone. That's what I can say. So I know that Mr. Mashaba is trying to garner some votes, and I applaud him for that. It's a bold statement. It's a really bold statement, but I don't trust him. Not personally, but the fact that he's a politician, that's why I don't trust him. So I don't trust these guys when they say these things. I don't know how you feel. Please tell me on the comment section. Do you believe when politicians tell you that they will not work with certain political parties, do you actually believe them? Please tell me on the comment section. And please tell me why do you believe when they say things like these?
Going to a coalition with the ANC. In 3 weeks' time, I'm going to be turning 64, so I'm not a young man. I lived more than half of my life under an evil system of apartheid. So, big number of people who are running ANC today, majority of you don't know them as much as I do. You did not really fund them the way we did as a black business at the time. The pre-1994, you guys were not there for them. We were there. And here we are 30 years down the line, born and raised in abject poverty, decided at the age of 22 that PW Botha is not going to control my life. I said to PW Botha, I said, Mr. Botha, you can control the 30 million plus black people. At the time, South Africa had roughly 30 million blacks. I said, you can control them, but not this one called Herman Mashaba.
All right.
I'm going to use my God-given talent to free myself. And that's how I declared myself to be a capitalist. I'm a full-blown capitalist. It's in my blood.
Guys, am I the only one who has a bit of problem with the capitalist running for office, man? Because to my understanding, the capitalists, the only thing that they are interested in is making money. The capitalists, they don't actually care about the society, about the action. Like, they don't care. The capitalists, they are only interested about making money. So, am I the only one who is skeptical whenever someone declares himself as a capitalist and is running for the office? Because the first thing that I'm asking myself when Herman Mashaba says I'm a full-blown capitalist is that, okay, let's say you are a full-blown capitalist. Let's say next year you win the election. You become the president of this country. Are you not going to use your position as the president to advance your business interests? Are you not going to do that? RAMAPHOSA right now is already being questioned about the same thing. This is after people saw what really took place there in Palapala. Because there are people who believe that RAMAPHOSA is using his position as the president to secure some of these business deals, his personal business deals. So how sure are we that you are going to focus on the issues that are affecting us as a general public? Because the capitalists, they don't have a history of actually caring about other people. It is only about them and their bottom line. So it's an alarm to me when you say you are a full-blown capitalist, because the only thing that tells me is that if you become a president, you are only going to enrich yourself and you are only going to enrich your friends, just like the ANC. So you've already declared your hate for the ANC, but how are you different from the ANC? How are you different from the Caders in the ANC? Because the Caders in the ANC are the capitalists. They don't care about the well-being of South Africans. They are using their positions, they are actually abusing their positions to enrich themselves. So I'm a bit skeptical, guys. I don't know. I'm a bit skeptical. I'm a bit skeptical about this whole capitalist thing, because the capitalists, they don't care about the well-being of others. Man, I can see what's happening there in West Africa, in Niger, man. You can see what's happening there. Over 50% of the population in Niger, they don't have electricity, but they have all these uranium mines that France is controlling, and France is taking all their mineral resources. And France is taking the same uranium, taking back to France, so that their nuclear power plants can run effectively, and their people can have electricity. So they don't even care about providing electricity for the citizens of Niger, as long as their people have the electricity. So this this whole capitalist mentality, I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure how I feel about it, because if you are a president and you are a full-blown capitalist, and some corporation says, okay, we want to get rid of stuff, we want to replace everyone with a machine, how are you going to respond to that? Are you going to respond as a president fighting for people's needs, or are you going to see it as another money-saving tactic from your capitalist friend? I mean, right now, a lot of people are sitting at home, they are not working. And that is the result of the capitalist system that is taking them out and replacing them with robots. Now they don't have to pay the wages and everything that they have to pay. They don't have to deal with the humans anymore. So if you are a full-blown capitalist, those are the ideas that you believe in. If you are a full-blown capitalist, you believe that the banks should get rid of its stuff and replace them with robots, because that's what capitalists do. They maximize their profits at the lowest cost. So I don't really know how I feel about these capitalist presidents. Where, like, even right now, we have a capitalist president. We can see what's happening. The people lied. You remember before RAMAPHOSA was elected, people said, no, RAMAPHOSA is a businessman. He's going to bring his business buddies. They are going to open, like, there's going to be a lot of jobs in South Africa. What happened? What happened? The only thing that you know right now is that there were millions and millions stashed in sofas in Palapala Farm. That's what you know. The people are still questioning the whole 500 billion COVID thing. They're still questioning that. So we have a capitalist system right now. So I don't see any need for you to hate the ANC, whereas we have a capitalist system right now. It's the same system which you believe in, that don't care about the people, that actually wants to maximize. Like, you just want to maximize your profits. As capitalists, the only thing that you want to do, you want to maximize your profits at the lowest cost. So if you are a capitalist president, as a citizen, how do I know that you got my best intentions at heart? How do I know that?
You know, when you're born in poverty, chances of going into crime are very high. So I've managed, instead of going into crime, use commerce to free myself. Now you look at me now, at my age and my financial position, why should I join a criminal enterprise? Honestly, I think it's unfair for anyone to expect me to join a criminal enterprise when I avoided to be in a criminal underworld when I was young. Because if you look at ANC, if anyone believes that they can change the ANC and they're happy to work with them, please leave Herman Mashaba out. There's just no way that I would want to be associated with the ANC. The only time you'll see me with the ANC, that's when I have no option. That's a reason why I declined the invitation today, called by Paul Bashati, the Deputy President. But because I'm a Democrat and I believe in engagement, I sent 4 of my team members to go and represent us, because I don't really believe that this intention of a coalition are genuine. I've dealt with Paul even when I was the mayor of the city of Johannesburg. Every time I have a meeting with him, I'll ask them to give me the agenda ahead of time. And even when they put it down, I will ensure that we record the meeting, and I'll say to Paul, is this the agenda? Are you sure is this the agenda? Because I'm used to you guys having one agenda on the table, but in the meantime, you've got another agenda. So for that reason, fellow South Africans, in the event that we get into an environment where ActionSA has got to be part of that multi-party government, I'm happy for my party, and I give them my blessing. But then Herman Mashaba must be left out of it. I'd rather go home and go and drink myself to death and be a broken man.
Herman Mashaba might as well go home now, because we know that anyone who is going to be in government, they are going to be in government working with the ANC, man. The ANC, they still have a lot of support. I guess that is another one thing that people are undermined. The ANC still has a lot of support. Majority of parties are banking on the youth, but the youth is not really interested in voting. So it becomes a bit hard if you are a political party and you are looking at youth to come and vote for you, because the youth is not really interested in politics. South African youth is not interested in politics. They don't care about what's happening right now. The only thing they know is that we don't have jobs, we are at home. And others, okay, maybe we are working, having a bit of good time. But generally they are not interested in politics. The South African youth is not interested in politics. And I don't blame them. I don't blame them, because some people, they can see politics through the lens of the ANC. Because some people, when you mention politics, the first thing that comes to their minds is the ANC. And they see what the ANC does, they see how these people behave, and they don't want to be the part of this. But at the same time, they are killing their own generation, because they're going to have to be the leaders of tomorrow. That's why when I see that idiot from the ANC Youth League, the president of the ANC Youth League, that idiot, whenever he rambles and opens up his mouth, he says nonsense. And I'm like, damn, these are the guys who are going to lead us tomorrow, because our people, our young people today, they don't want to participate in politics. So you know what a wise man once said, is that if you don't participate in politics, you are going to be led by fools. If you don't want to participate in politics, you are going to be led by fools. So chances are even our generation is going to be led by people like the ANC government, basically, because we are not interested in politics. So these guys who are not even qualified, who can't even articulate themselves, are going to be our leaders tomorrow, and we're going to have to live with that. We just have to complain and just keep going.
Because that's what's going to really happen to me, because no one is going to be able to really change the ANC. The level of corruption within that organization is so deep that no one can ever change it. And I think political parties talking about going into coalition with the ANC breaks my heart. I left my successful business career to unseat the ANC. And when in 2019 discovered my party and the ANC had a plan to remove me as a mayor, as I was fighting corruption, I was providing services to poor communities, it broke my heart. And for some reason, because perhaps someone in my family tree made a terrible mistake to God, and God decided I'm the one to pay. Because doing this job is brutal. This is a brutal job, but at the same time, it's a necessary job. I'm using my privileged position to do my little best to ensure that I can save my country. That's all I'm doing. I don't get paid for this. I don't get paid for this. It's costing me a fortune. I can imagine to start this at the time when the captains of industry believed in Mr. Palapala. And I raised my reservations, and I became very unpopular with captains of industry as to why I was against Mr. Palapala. And Mr. Palapala has demonstrated to us that Jacob Zuma was a Sunday school picnic. And for me, listening to Rob now, that captains of industry wants to work with the ANC to repair this country, I don't know where they live. They must be delusional. Because what they are going to define is a level of corruption and deep-rooted Cader deployment. I don't know how they're going to solve that. Only a miracle might happen. I wish you all of the best, as long as I'm saying is we left out of it.
I also don't know. I'm sorry. I also don't know how the ANC is going to work on this issue of Cader deployment, because this issue of Cader deployment has actually cost ANC a lot, because now they had to employ some of their cadres who are not even capable or qualified for some of the positions they gave them. And we can see how incompetent most of them are, because everything under the ANC is crumbling. You can look at our infrastructure, you can look at our education system. Everything under the ANC is crumbling. And mainly it's because of these Cader deployments. I mean, like, these guys have been employing incompetent ministers for years. Incompetent ministers for years. You've seen people like Lindwe Sisulu being rotated. You've seen people like Fikile Mbalula. He has never done anything. He has never done anything for the ANC. You see people like Batabile Dlamini, Lindwe Zulu, like all those, like, they have never done nothing. But these people have been circulated year in, year out. So the whole issue of Cader deployment is the death of the ANC. If the ANC they have one thing, if there's one thing that is going to kill the ANC, it's Cader deployment. And it's already doing so. Because it is so hard for them to go out there and outsource qualified people. Or maybe even still within the ANC. I'm sure there are people who are qualified. But clearly in the ANC, it works like it depends on who you know. So Cader deployment is the death of the ANC. It's the death of the ANC. I mean, like, this is why the ANC would rather employ or deploy politicians to look after ESCOM instead of simply hiring engineers. You look at the Minister of Mineral Resources and everything, it's Gwede Mantashe. Like, these guys are just rotating. Pravin Gordhan is there, Minister of Public Enterprises, of SOEs is there. And all of these guys, they are not even qualified to do the jobs that they are doing right now. That's why everything is a mess under them.
I ran an organization which I was forced by South Africans to start when I announced my resignation as a mayor of the city of Johannesburg 2 years ahead of time. Because I wasn't born yesterday, I have natural instinct to know certain things. And it came to my attention, my party and the ANC were having secret meetings facilitated by Frans Grunier and the IRR to remove me from power. Because my sin, calling me an EFF mayor, you can imagine Herman Mashaba and the EFF, I mean, we come from, the EFF is on the extreme of the ANC. But at the end of the day, when you run a municipality and you run government, you don't provide services to only those who voted for you. I hate to live side by side with poverty. I know what poverty means. And I got involved in government, into politics, so that we can address this issue of poverty. Now, for me to really be accused of being an EFF mayor because I'm providing toilets to people, and then you go and negotiate with the ANC secretly to have a motion of no confidence against me. And obviously for the ANC, because at the time I was pursuing 35 billion rands of fraud and corruption of senior ANC people who are today not in parliament, in cabinet of Mr. Palapal. So obviously that, so when I then said, if that's the case, I'm out of here. And civil society said to me, Herman, start your own political party. I said, my goodness, what have I done?
Hey, but the ANC and DA did him dirty, man. They did him dirty, man. They did him dirty, man. So Herman Mashaba was basically kicked out of his job for providing the service to the people. This is exactly what I hate about politics, man. I hate politics because these guys, they know how to politicize everything. Everything. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if people don't get services. It doesn't matter who dies. They don't care. The ANC did him dirty, man.
How do I start a political party?
And with the DA, man, if the DA really wanted Mashaba out, why didn't they just say so? Instead of going behind his back and colluding with the ANC. Why didn't they just say, okay, Mashaba, we are no longer happy with you, man. We know that you still got your contracts and everything, but we would prefer it if you would resign, man. Please do it for us, man. We can't work with you anymore. But they went behind him to negotiate with the same. Like that. This is why I said these guys, I don't trust them when they say that they are not going to work with certain political parties. So the DA went behind Mashaba's back to negotiate with the ANC, the same ANC that the DA is criticizing every single day. Every single day, the DA is criticizing the ANC. But when it's time to do the dirty work, you know what? Come, let's negotiate. This is why I say I don't believe them when they say they're not going to negotiate with everyone. Mashaba, maybe I believe him a bit when he says that he personally would like to, he would not be involved, but he's still a politician anyway, so he's still in the same basket. This is why I say I don't believe these guys when they say they will not vote with this, they will not. Like the EFF has been criticized for working with the DA. The ANC, the DA has been they've been criticized for working with the ANC. This is what these guys do. That's why I said the only thing that these guys are interested in is power. It's power. All this nonsense talk that I'm not going to work with this person, it's a lie. It's a lie. They're lying to us. They just want our votes. They're lying to us. Once we voted, there's nothing that we can do. When it comes negotiation times, there's nothing that the public can do. There's nothing that you can do, even if you voted for ActionSA. If ActionSA wants to work with the ANC, then what? If the ActionSA tells you that, okay, we are going to work with the ANC just to put the needs of South Africans before us, what are you going to say? You're going to say, it's fine, I'm no longer going to vote for ActionSA again. Like, these guys, like, they get in parliament, it's 5 years. It's 5 years. You can't be angry at them for the whole 5 years, man. People were angry at the ANC for the last few years. And now, just because the load shedding is not as bad, people are like, the only one, the one issue I was against the ANC is because of the load shedding. People are saying because the load shedding is better now, they are going to vote for the ANC. Even though they contemplated before for not voting for the ANC. So the ANC really don't have to do much right now to convince our people, because our people are not really interested in what's really going on in the country. It's a mess, guys.
But fortunately enough, my grandfather always taught me, as a human being, use this little brain to navigate the challenges. Here we are. We've got a political party called ActionSA. Please, I challenge any one of you to go into your Google. Not a single analyst or professor gave us a chance. They said in the city of Johannesburg, if we get 3, councillors will be lucky. Free and fair elections happened. As I'm talking to you right now, ActionSA has got 44 councillors in the city of Johannesburg.
Nice.
19 in Tshwane, where the Soviet will never get anything. 15 in Kuruleni. We've had 8 or so by-elections. The last one we had 3 weeks ago, Ward 7 in the city of Johannesburg. It was an ANC ward. We moved as a ActionSA, dropped the ANC support from 37% to current 24.
Jeez.
And people tell me ANC is growing way. Yes, in the minds of professionals or using their computers and analysts. But in real terms, I can show you in all the by-elections we contested, we knock ANC 15, 20, 30% down all the time. We're the only political party in this country capable of unseating the ANC. And we are unapologetic about this. And you ask yourself, why is ActionSA managing to do this? Because I've been taught also by my grandfather as a human being not to stand on a fence on any subject. That's why some people call me stubborn or dictator. And I'm happy to wear those shoes. I've always made it clear to South Africans that I believe in an unracial society. This whole PE nonsense and employment equity, well, as long as I'm alive, there's just no way that I'm going to allow God-given creations to be separated by another man. I will not accept it. I will not want to live in a society like that. I believe in a free market economy. I believe the only way this country can survive is to allow business to do business and the government create an enabling environment for them. This is why I'm being really very clear listening to BRICS and Russia. Russia is a case to South Africa. We don't need BRICS. ActionSA comes into power. I'm very clear. South Africa will not be part of BRICS. Not that I will not do business with other countries, but Russia is a liability. They trained these ANC people to destroy. The 30 years they were in exile, they were teaching them to destroy and steal. That's why they continue to do. So I believe.
So what has the West done for us? What is it that the West has done for us? If you don't want to be part of BRICS, you still want to trade with dollar, you still want to be vulnerable to sanctions. What is it that the West has done for us? What is it? Man, when you live in a country like South Africa, man, we have diamond mines, we have coal, we have gold, we have all these mineral resources. But majority of South Africans are still poor. And many of these companies and mines belong to these Western countries. So what is it that exactly that the West has done for us? Because I'm not going to say that I'm a big fan of BRICS, fine. But at the same time, I no longer want to live in a country that is controlled by the USA and the West, because like they've done nothing for us. But when you talk about the West and us, it annoys me because every time I look at Niger, man, I look at Niger, you know, Niger really opened a lot of people's eyes about what's really been taking place in South Africa, in Africa, man. So if we're no longer going to be part of BRICS, you still want us to maintain, you still want us to be under, like, you still want us to be part of ICC, the same corrupt ICC, you still want us to be vulnerable to sanctions, you still want us to trade with dollar. So basically, you still want South Africa to be puppets of the West. That's what I said. I have a problem with you when you said you are a full-blown capitalist. This is exactly why. Right now, a lot of people in Africa, they love Russia. Even what they are doing right now in Niger, people love Africa. They love Russia. Because Russia right now is basically helping Niger to defend itself against the terrorists and against the possible attack by the West. There's a reason why African countries are looking into Russia and no longer there in the West. There's a reason why. Right now, the African countries are being denied aid because some of them, they won't allow the LGBTQI thing to exist in their countries. So if you don't want us to be part of BRICS, do you still want us to remain where we are? Because there's a reason, man. There's a reason. There's no way that the whole Africa right now is revolting against the West. There is a reason why Africans are no longer looking at the West. They are looking at Chinese and they are looking at the Russians. You can see even right now in our neighboring country, Zimbabwe, China has just made a huge investment there. They've made a huge investment there. So what is it that these guys, what is it that they have done for us? These capitalists, what is it that they have done for us? They've done nothing. They've done fuck all. They've done fuck all. The only thing that they know is to take our mineral resources. They've done fuck all for us. Fuck all. The next thing they summon our president to go there to UK. The next thing they put them in a bus like school kids. They don't even respect our presidents, man. They put our presidents in a bus like school kids. They by Queen Elizabeth's house. Nah, man, this whole capitalist thing, man, I don't like it at all.
Live in free market economy, but I believe in social justice. I know what poverty is. I know how to sleep or go to school without shoes. So I believe in social justice. And I believe the only way that we can make it as a country is to have the rule of law. That's why...
I mean, right now the world is turning against America because America is using its US dollar as a weapon. This is the main reason why a lot of people no longer want to do the business in dollar, man. You can see even even in the world, the dollarization movement that has been taking place. You can see even presidents like William Ruto. They talk about this stuff, that in Africa, why are we trading with each other using the dollar? Why?
Yesterday, I mobilized thousands of South Africans. I'm sure you saw it on national televisions. Mobilized South Africans. We went to the Minister of Police to go and give him a memorandum from just under 500 to police stations, completely dysfunctional. Completely dysfunctional. But we have a Minister of Police running from one crisis to the other. Yesterday he was here in Cape Town. That's why the memorandum was received by someone else. I said, perhaps today must be nail sprayed or something. Spending money. I don't know when is he ever in office to provide political direction to the police and put in professional people. We need to bring the Scorpions as a matter of agency with less political intervention so that we can really deal with the rule of law in our country.
Facts, man. The minister of police, man, man. You remember how people used to say that Commissioner Cele, yeah. But Bekicele, ever since the guy has been the minister of our police, man, it is a mess in South Africa, man. Crime is so rampage. Like in South Africa, the crime, it is a mess. And just like Herman Mashaba, the only time I get to see Bekicele is when something happened some way. But I don't see any improvement within the South African police service. Like there is no improvement. There is not even hope of improvement there by the South African police service. You can even see by their by the new staff they recruited, man. They recruit some of those police officers. Some of those new police officers are so thin. It's like, who are you going to arrest, man? Some of them look like kids. They look like kids. Some of them like they're out of shape. When we were growing up, we knew that when we were growing up, police were fit, man. When we were growing up, police officers were fit, man. Those guys, they could run, they could chase against us. But you look at our police, you look at our police officers today, then you're like, damn, man. This is why some people they beat the living crap out of you, because no one can respect you, man. You bring someone so thin, someone who so slender, like so thin, coming here trying to arrest you, man. Like you think someone so thin can arrest me, man? I can just murder with a comfort club, man. Come on. The Minister of Police, man, like the guy has failed, man. In South Africa, he has failed in South Africa, man. He has failed in South Africa. I'm not gonna lie. He has failed in South Africa. And the way he talks, he's so arrogant. The way he talks. Jeez, man.
There's just no way we're going to make it in this country if we are not prepared to educate our people. Are you aware I'm a product of Bantu education. The kind of education that I received and the kind of education that the child in Kugule today gets is worse than what H.F. Favur used to give us.
Yeah.
Very sad. 80% of public schools are not dysfunctional because, and it's not a mistake. It's a plan by the ANC government to keep black people poor. That's why I became unpopular with the ANC for the last 20 years. That I've always said, ANC wants to keep black people poor, uneducated, so that they can control them. That's why they hated clever blacks. And I've always made it really very clear. I like clever people. I'm in politics so that I can produce clever people, black and white. So all people must be clever, because that's the only way we can grow our economy and grow prosperity to our country. So we now ready as ActionSA. We contested 6 municipalities in 2021. Out of 6 municipalities, ActionSA, people think we're a small party. No, we're a new party. In 29th of August will be 3 years, but we one of the biggest party. Are you aware we are the 6th biggest political party in the country? Out of 6 municipalities, 6 municipalities out of 278. Today, as I speak to you, the whole of last year focused on putting provincial chairperson. I've got brilliant provincial chairpersons. We are ready to contest elections, and there's no way ANC is going to steal elections from us.
And guys, do you believe that the elections are free? Do you believe that South African elections are free? Because if you really think about it, we have never actually practiced this whole democracy thing in South Africa. For 30 years, sometimes I sit back and I'm like, for 30 years we've been under one party. Man, South Africans need to exercise this whole democracy thing, man. We need to be like other countries where we can replace this party, we can replace this president. But in South Africa, man, for 30 years, South Africans are not serious, man. We are not serious, guys. For 30 years, we've allowed one party to do as they please in South Africa. And still, South Africa, they have the audacity to talk about Mnangagwa and ZANU-PF, talking about, ZANU-PF is a dictator's party, blah, 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 blah. Like, guys, you've been under one party for 30 years. How are you different from Zimbabwe? You are not different from Zimbabwe, man. I hate it when South Africans pretend like we are better than Zimbabweans. We are not better than Zimbabweans. We are similar with the Zimbabweans. So we've never experienced this whole democracy thing. We've never exercised it, man. We've never actually been bold enough to say, ANC, we are taking you out. DA, we are bringing you in. DA, we are taking you out. EFF, we are bringing you in. Just like that. We've never been brave enough to do that, man. Jeez. And I must say that the ANC have done quite a good job when it comes to demoralizing the youth to participate in politics, because they know that if the youth is not really interested in politics, then they can do what they want, just like Herman Mashaba said. He knows that's why they have all these ministers. Some of them are like 80, 90s. Some of them are like 250 years old. But that's why they are circulating there by themselves, because there are no young people in the ANC. There are no young people in the ANC. So they've done quite a good job by actually making people not be interested in politics, man. Because by making young people not be interested in politics, you can secure the power by yourselves. They know that they got the vote from our grandmothers and from our parents. But when it comes to the youth, they are not really banking on the youth, because the youth is not really interested in voting. If the youth of South Africa was serious, and if South African youth can go out in 2024, we can unseat the ANC just like that. We can elect any party that we want. Any party, be it ActionSA, DA, EFF, any party that we want. The South African youth, it's just that we don't want to participate in politics. We just want to complain. But if we were serious about our future, we would actually make it that we go out and vote and make our voices heard. and make our voices heard. Of course, we're not going to agree on which parties we can vote for, but at least we will be out there voting for the parties we believe in.
And no ways ANC is going to get 40%. If they get to the mid-30s, they must think they are gods because they don't even believe in God. So we're working very hard around the clock. I pay a very serious price. I thought as a young man during apartheid, doing 10,000 kilometers a month, my car had to be serviced every month. I thought I was a hard worker. This work I'm doing now, which I don't pay, which costs me money, it's a very brutal job. But I really regard myself to be the most fortunate human being on earth. My grandfather taught me to always really believe in myself, and I strongly so believe in myself that we are going to unseat ANC come 2024. But it's not going to happen by chance. It's going to happen out of hard work, mobilizing civil society. There's 25 million plus South Africans who've chickened out of politics. We're doing everything possible to register them with the IEC to make sure that we can create history like we did in 2021.
I can't wait for these guys to start doing the doors to doors, to come and wash our feet and wash our windows and kiss our grandmothers. You know, the election season, man, is one of the funniest seasons. Election season, damn, man. Damn, you remember last time RAMAPHOSA was kissing the grandmothers there, man? These people, they go out there, they kiss our grandmothers, they come, they wash our feet, they wash the windows, they give us the t-shirts. Man, the election season is one of the craziest things I've ever seen. And it is so patronizing, and I'm like, guys, you were not even here for entire 5 years. But a few months before we go out to vote, here you are promising us all sorts of things. Promising us this and that. I mean, like, the ANC is so bold that they can send someone who is not working to come to your house to tell you that the ANC is going to give you a job. That's how crazy these people are. Imagine someone who's not working coming to your house to tell you that they can like the ANC will make sure that you are employed, but he is not employed himself. That is the question that Faith Mangope from, I think it's from Metro FM, when she was interviewing, I think, that guy from NYDA, man. That ANC Youth League guy from NYDA, Avela Mjajubano. He said, Avela, like, over half of your Congress there by the ANC Youth League is unemployed. How are you going to address this issue of unemployment, whereas you guys yourselves are not employed there? They are not. So election season, man, they are going to do funny things, man. This time they are going to do funny things. I swear, just wait and see. Just wait and see. These guys, jeez.
So I'm excited. I'm nervous because getting to 2024 is not going to be an easy journey. Coming here yesterday reminded me of the days of apartheid. Getting out of the airport to coming here. You don't know what I went through. The days when I started my business, ducking and diving from security forces with roadblocks every townships, because I used to operate mainly in the townships because that's where my market was. You get into a township, if by the time you come out there's a roadblock or there's a boycott and so forth. It happened yesterday, last night, coming here. At the airport, as I'm getting my car, I'm told I must be careful. And I can tell you, this took me back to the mid-80s. And this is something that can really happen between now and 2024. But I think that should not really deter us or discourage us from working hard to ensure that we remove this evil of government. Otherwise, South Africa is going to become another failed state, and if it does, then all of us must take the responsibility. For those of you who believe that you are not political animals, you are making a big mistake. You're failing your children, you're failing your grandchildren, because I can tell you, if you want politics to stay away from you, have interest in politics. If not, I can tell you, politics is going to come into your bedroom.
Exactly.
Whether you like it or not. So for us as ActionSA, we are prepared to really work hard and work hard for our country. I'm sure with the little money I've got, I can afford to go and live anywhere else in the world, but I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to use my privileged position, God-given privilege by this country, to ensure that future generations, my grandchildren, can live in a country in the world where they are not judged on the basis of the color of the skin, they are judged on their character. And that's what I'm working towards. Thank you very much.
So guys, what do you think about that? What do you think about Herman Mashaba's speech, man? He said quite a few things there. What do you think about Herman Mashaba's speech? Please tell me what you think on the comment section, and please don't forget to hit that like button. And the most important part, guys, please subscribe. My name is Thomas Mabaso, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.